These are the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 earbuds, and chances are they're not the right pair of earbuds for you unless you have one thing in particular to go along with them. Let's discuss. What's up, internet? I'm Brian McDuff, aka BMac, and welcome to another video. So yes indeed, today we're going to be reviewing these bad boys right here, the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 earbuds. These are Samsung's latest earbuds offering in a new generational earbuds lineup, but can they live up to their hype? That's what we're going to find out. So to do that, let's get things started right away here and talk about the Galaxy Buds 3 design and how they look and feel when you're wearing them in your ears. The Galaxy Buds 3 earbuds have a pretty interesting design here in more ways than just one. To start, these are gonna be your open type earbuds, which means they're not gonna come with any kind of ear tip attachments. The tops of them actually look pretty darn similar to the Apple AirPods, especially if you're looking at the white color, but with a more geometric pentagonal stem instead of the regular cylindrical stem that you're probably used to. Inside each earbud is gonna be an 11mm dynamic driver and 3 different microphones, complete with VPU and beamforming technology, which of course is going to be used for picking up your voice, but also for ANC and adaptive EQ, which we'll talk more about in just a few minutes. Color-wise, there are only 2 color options for the Buds 3 currently. You either could get them in a silver color or in a white color, both of which I personally think look pretty darn good. But with the Buds 3, you are getting in-ear detection with auto pause, so when you take the earbuds out of your ear, they're gonna automatically pause the audio that is playing back, which for me is pretty much a must-have these days. And you do also get an IP57 dust and water resistance rating here with the Buds 3, which is a very welcome tech spec because that's gonna allow you to effectively use these earbuds pretty much anywhere and in pretty much any kind of situation. But personally, as it relates to design here, I gotta be completely honest in saying that they're not really the right kind of design for me. And I think this basically just boils down to the fact that these are open type earbuds, which means they don't have any kind of ear tip attachments. I constantly find myself having to adjust the Buds 3 when I'm wearing them to try to find that perfect fit, which usually results in me just kind of rotating them. But even then, when I feel like I've found that perfect fit, it's hard to keep them there. The Buds 3 feel almost kind of slippery, probably in part because of any kind of sweat buildup or skin oil buildup. And it feels like these just are never truly secure, which makes them feel like they could pretty easily fall out. If you don't like ear tips, they bother you, can never find the right size, whatever the situation might be, then maybe you'll enjoy this open type design here. But for me, things just don't feel snug. Even right now, I feel like if I whip my head around fast enough, they're gonna fall out. But let's talk about track controls here for a second, because I think on the Buds 3, track controls are pretty quick and easy to be able to actually use. All you have to do is pinch once, twice, or 3 times for play, pause, skip, or backtracking your audio. And you also do have the ability of customizing the pinch and hold control for each individual earbud, with me personally having it set up to actually toggling ANC on or off with the left earbud, and invoking the voice assistant with the right earbud. But what I really love here with the Buds 3 has to be the swipe gestures for volume control. This is not exactly unique to the Buds 3. We do have other earbuds which implement swipe volume controls, but credit where credit is due. I think Samsung did a great job here of implementing this in the Buds 3, and I think they're super easy to use and responsive enough for you to actually be able to do it without even having to think much about it. You get instant volume control with snappy and yet subtle audio feedback, which is going to allow you to just easily swipe up or down on the flat section of either earbud for controlling the volume. But what kind of connectivity can we expect to get out of the Buds 3 earbuds, and how does that connectivity relate to overall performance and sound quality? The Galaxy Buds 3 do support Bluetooth 5.4, which is going to give you some of the latest and greatest as it relates to your wireless range and stability. And along with that, you are going to get support for the AAC, SBC, SSC, and SSC UHQ audio codecs. And this is where things start to get a little interesting. I'm not totally sure how I should react. You see, the SSC audio codec is short for the Samsung Scalable codec, and it essentially is giving you high resolution streaming over Bluetooth. You are gonna wanna use that SSC codec, but you can only do so when you're using the Buds 3 with a connected Samsung device that also supports it. In terms of microphone quality, if you're wondering how the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 sound, here's a quick little demo for you. This is what the microphone quality sounds like on the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 earbuds. This is raw audio recorded directly from the Buds 3 earbuds into the voice recording app here on the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6. So hopefully this gives you a pretty good idea of what to expect. And as you just heard right there, pretty darn good microphone quality. In fact, possibly the best microphone quality I personally heard on a pair of earbuds in quite some time. So if you take a lot of phone calls, or if you're hopping on a lot of Zoom meetings, whatever the case may be, if you're gonna be using your earbuds as a microphone source, whew, Buds 3 sound pretty darn good. And a quick note on AI here, you hear a lot about Galaxy AI. You probably have heard that the Buds 3 have Galaxy AI built in. Personally, I haven't found it to be all that groundbreaking. It's not that I don't like the features or that I don't think that they're great. It's just not features I personally use a whole heck of a lot. Maybe I'll have to try them out more on a daily basis to see if they could work in my daily workflow, but I'm glad that they're there. It's just not something that I spend a whole lot of time thinking about. But let's get down to business and talk about sound quality and how the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 earbuds sound when you're listening to them. The thing is with the Buds 3 earbuds is that you really do have to have the right fit in your ear. Otherwise, you could completely make or break your listening experience. When you do get that right fit, which is what I'm gonna base my thoughts on moving forward, things sound pretty great. I did find the bass to be pretty solid and realistically represented. There was a nice separation of instruments with detail and clarity throughout the entire EQ spectrum, with perhaps just a tad bit too much emphasis in some of the highs, which you could pretty easily and quickly fix with the 9-band equalizer built into the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 companion app. But all in all, a pretty good sound quality experience that the typical earbuds user would likely be happy with if, again, you get the fit right. If the fit isn't right, I've noticed that the bass could fall off pretty easily, the mids seem a little muddled. The whole experience just seems a little bit lackluster if they're not fitting the perfect way. Now, something rather interesting here is that there is adaptive EQ built into the Buds 3, which you could utilize, which is supposed to actually use Galaxy AI to adjust the audio based on how the earbuds are sitting in your ears, which theoretically should make up for the different kind of fits and placements that you have with the Buds 3 in your ears. But honestly, I gotta be honest, I really didn't find that to make much of a difference. There is also a 360-degree audio feature, which I actually played around with a little bit and kind of like. You could have it with head tracking on or off. It's basically like an AI version of spatial audio, which is pretty cool on some songs from time to time. It's not something I would use on every single song all the time, but something fun to kind of play around with. But as it relates to ANC, this is where things kind of start to fall apart. Simply put, I am not really a fan of the ANC performance on the Buds 3. The ANC works and you can tell when it's on, but there's still a lot of ambient and environmental noise leaking through to the Buds 3 when you're using an ANC, and honestly, it's pretty darn far from what I would consider to be strong ANC performance. But with all these features built in, what's the battery life looking like, and how long could you actually expect the Buds 3 to last? With your typical listening settings, Samsung is promising up to 5 hours of ANC listening time, up to 6 hours of non-ANC listening time, or up to 24 hours total of ANC listening time, or up to 30 hours total of non-ANC listening time when including the charging case. Which honestly are great numbers. Very much on par with what I like to see out of a pair of earbuds these days, so check mark there for battery life. Without a doubt. And the case itself, by the way, is rechargeable via USB-C or wirelessly, so you can just pop this onto a wireless charger and charge them up that way, or you can plug them in. But with all that having been said, here are my final thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 earbuds and whether or not I think they're the right pair of earbuds for you. I'm just gonna have to come right out and say it here that I don't know that I could say the Buds 3 are the right pair of earbuds for you unless you're already a Samsung Galaxy smartphone owner and user. Personally, I think there are 3 main shortcomings that I've found with the Buds 3, that being the design, the overall sound quality, and the somewhat limited support for higher resolution audio codecs. So with that in mind, unless you're already a Samsung Galaxy smartphone user, or if you prefer a pair of earbuds that don't have ear tips, and if you have a really good time of getting them to fit perfectly in your ear without any kind of problem, and you have great sound quality therefore, maybe you'll end up loving the Buds 3. But for everyone else, chances are there's another pair of earbuds out there that are gonna be a better fit for you. Pun intended. As always, for the latest deals, prices, promos, and information for the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 earbuds, you can of course always head to my affiliate link, bmac.link/GalaxyBuds3, or of course, as always, there's gonna be clickable links in the video description box and in the comment section below, so check those out. Someone online said that the Galaxy Buds 3 actually remind them of a Cybertruck version of Apple AirPods, which is actually hilariously accurate. I'll see you guys in my next video.